Shanda from along the Continental Divide in Idaho, and I'm back to talk to you about my stitching. I have a lot of a little bit of everything, if that makes sense. So today I thought we would travel through some FFOs in process, whips, some current. I don't have anything fully finished. And I don't even think I have anything finished, but darn close. Some Christmas stitching in the works, some fall stitching that I need to take a pull on, some January. I'm looking forward to January for a start or two. And then down on the end down there, I have a couple of things I'm doing. They're not in the cross stitch line, but they're in the baby gift line that I wanted to show. I've showed them before on my channel, but it was when I was doing some quilting. So I'll show them again. And then on the very end, just some tidbits of a little bit of something I've been doing on the side. First of all, I want to say thank you to everyone who left me a comment last time. I really have no excuse other than I feel life is too busy, and I'm starting to be very protective of my nights and my weekends. When I was making this decision whether to go back to be a school librarian / attendance secretary, it was with a very heavy heart. Not that I dislike my job, I don't, but I am an introverted empath, and I really need my home time, my me time, my time to putz around the house. I can be talking to friends, texting on the phone physically, to family members. That doesn't bother me, but it's the going away from home that just tugs at my heartstrings. Time gets away from me, but I thank you for leaving comments, because I do read them. I read them all, and I even catch the ones that are left on Instagram, which I don't always check all the time. You do not know how they lift my spirits at times. I think in this crazy, crazy world where our stitching brings us solace, it brings us the same feelings sometimes we feel when it's a rainy day outside. We feel comfortable in our stitching nests, and we feel that that's one thing that we can control. So thank you for the comments. I know they were unanswered, and that's why I'm apologizing. I have had a couple things that have fallen by the wayside now out of my life that I've removed, so hopefully I will be able to answer them in a more timely manner when you do leave me a comment, if you so choose. The first thing I want to comment on is O Tannenbaum. I did get it. It is finished. See if I can get this without a glare. It is finished, O Tannenbaum by Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. It is finished. I have it here. I haven't done a thing with it to fully finish it, but I showed this last time. One of my followers and somebody I met in fall, actually it was about a year ago, this fall, last September, I met Marlis at a cross stitch retreat in Missoula, Montana. And she had the great idea. She was stitching this with us, with me and with a bunch of other people. She had the great idea to lace each one of these as she finished it, so she wouldn't be left with 5 finishes basically to do, to put into this box. I still have to stain my box, but it is painted, because basically now you have 5 finishes, and that's kind of a daunting task for me at times when I think, oh, I've got to do all 5 of those at one time. But that was a great idea, and Marlis, I wish I would have heeded your good advice. But here are all of mine. They're finished. I thought I was going to finish them here and with this FlossTube show them to you, but I didn't get them done. So next month I will have one FlossTube before Christmas. I will have this done. I even have I came across a sheep in my own collection that I'm going to use. It's not a putz sheep, but it is a small sheep nonetheless, because as many of you know, I was raised on a sheep farm and I love sheep. And in fact, some of my stitching here has sheep in it that I will be starting or have started it. So sheep is my jam. And I will get this one done to show next FlossTube. So that is my sadness for this FlossTube, is this pile has been staring me in the face. I even have the stain, I have the brush here with it, I have the chipboard, I have everything. I just did not get it quite finished here today. So I did graduate Friday night from my Master Gardener program. So that took up some time for me to finish up this fall. There's advanced, continuing, and advanced, Master Gardener, continuing Master Gardener, and then an advanced. And I'm going to skip the middle one and do 2 years in one this next year. It's still less volunteer hours and less time commitment than the original Master Gardener, the first year that I just got done with. So that really was what was taking up a lot of my time. What have I been stitching on? The first one I want to show you, it was a PDF, and I did not print off. I'm just sure I did not print off my printer situation. I didn't have a color cartridge. I did not print off the colored picture on the front, but it is Pineberry Lanes Christmas 1878, and it is a marking sampler. And here is my progress. This is all the bigger it's going to be. It's just some red work, and I believe I'm using DMC 221, and it just has the alphabet across the top 2 lines, 2 snowflakes on each side, the numbers, and then it says Christmas 1878. So that is my, if I can hold it decently here. So that is my red work plus my Christmas. I started this a year ago, and I got this out, and I'm needing some instant gratification projects right now. So this is one of them. And on the flip side, I'm also starting this red work sampler, Stacy Nash Merry Christmas Pin Keep. See if I can get that in there for you. A lot of you have stitched this. And here is my sad but start nonetheless. And this one I started at the same time I started Merry Christmas, or Christmas 1878 last year. So both of these are pretty small. This one is, the stitch count is 123 by 87. So I think both of these I can get done for Christmas this year. They might not be fully finished, but they will be done nonetheless. They will have stitched them in season. And this is the bag I keep them in. I made this bag one or two, not this summer, it was summer of 2022, but it's like a toile in a way. I love this fabric. So I thought that was and it's even the same on the inside. So I thought that was perfect to keep this project in. I've been having some eye problems. So if I look like I'm focusing, I'm trying to focus. It's the up close stuff that gets to me. Just can't quite. The second one I started again. This is the third start for this one and the last. I wanted a Sunday stitch. I've always wanted a specific Sunday stitch. And after watching Christy Crosshatch Quilt, she's inspired me to get out my Sunday stitch again, which is this one. Everybody's, I'm sure knows what it is. His Eye is on the Sparrow. I will not be doing Consider the Lilies. I just don't have that much wall space, but I do love this one. And I am doing mine, looks like 1/1, and it's 25 count Vintage Country Mocha. Very sad start, right? But this is 25 count Vintage Country Mocha. So essentially I'll be stitching this basically on 50 count, and it'll make the whole project much, much smaller. So it won't be as big as this one in a frame wise. it'll be much smaller and I will be able to fit it on my wall. I will be changing that house color to, I believe, red with blue doors. I've seen that on a couple of people's stitches. Love it. But this will be my Sunday stitch. And thank you, Christy, if you watch, for the wonderful idea of that you and Lori stitch the mirrors. So like the deer, there's cows, there's one animal, everything. And probably as I stitch, say the peacock on one side, I will stitch the peacock on the other side. So, my Sunday stitch for 2020, the end of 2023 and into 2024. It's a big one, but I have loved this for quite some time, and I'm keeping it in my very fall, primitive fall bag with a cabin and a wagon. Actually, it looks like a horse pulling a sled of logs. There's the wagon, or maybe a water wagon over there, and then the back. Beautiful fall colors. His eye is on the sparrow. There's another cabin over here. Love that bag. Another one I've been working on is Stacy Nash, Houses of Berry Chapel Road, Turkey Hollow Farm. And I ended up getting one of the patterns that had the missing tail feathers. The tail feathers are here on the picture, but on my chart, they were missing. So I had a friend just take me a photo of just the tail feathers. Her chart had the tail feathers. So I quickly did the tail feathers, and I started the fence, and I have my border, but he's the headless turkey. And then my friend Judy up here, she gave me a turkey needle minder. Judy is from Stitch Group, and we started this together. Hers has long been done, and mine hasn't. So, but I'm in love with this border. Very quintessential Stacy Nash, little triangles. Just I believe, loving this. And this is stitched on 36 count. I want to say everything Mystic. This is in my Christy bag, Christy Crosshatch Quilts. She made this for me several years ago, and I keep that one in here. I want to say 36 count Cream and Sugar by Fiber on a Whim. So it'll be a little bit lighter. Sorry, I just dropped my picture of this one. It will be a little bit lighter, but I'm still just gonna love it. So obviously this one will not get done in November. This is gonna be one of my concentrates for the month of November. Beautiful, beautiful Christy bag. Love it. Joe Morton Fabrics. Two more here. This one is Letters to Santa or Letters from Santa from Brenda Gervais. Letters for Santa. And really sad start on this one. I'll go like this. It's just the G, I just stitched the middle. This is 18 count natural linen. I've also stitched the Reverend, which you will see here in a minute, on this fabric. And it's such a primitive, burlappy, I love it. And this is probably the last thing I'll stitch on that because I don't have any more of that left. So, real small start on that one. And it is in my couple of friends I made. Salt Box Christmas House, Salt Box Houses. I love this cheddar one right here. And this red, and there's this dark gray or dark brown. I had just enough fabric to make a couple of friends. One of these last year for Christmas, Stitching Friends. This is a needle minder with some sheep that my friend Christy gave me, and this is my tag to tell me what's in here. Sometimes the project bags are funner than what's actually inside, but I digress again. Okay, the Reverend Gordon Squash Bottom from Not Forgotten Farms. A lot of people are either starting, have finished, or are stitching this one. This one is also a classic, 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 classic. And I was stitching fervently on him, and Halloween came and went, so I'm gonna put him away for a year. I'm kind of tired of that big white house, but he's missing his jacket and his hands and a kitty cat, and I'll fill in that house and he will be done. But he's gonna get put away now for Loving the little flags on the sides. They almost look like, they're like a bunting. Oh, just love the colors in this one. And this one is also on that 18 count natural linen. Got to finish filling in his hat, but I just kind of, you know how when you, like, okay, I'm finished with this one, I'm done, and I don't want to keep going. So this one will be a finish for next year. If I get this one out in September, it'll definitely be a finish, but love, love, love this one. So many things to stitch, and then when the moment moves you, you got to switch gears. I went from the Reverend to that red and red marking sampler by Pineberry Lane, that 8 Christmas 1878. So, yeah. Okay, couple of ones I want to start for the Christmas holiday season because I think they are fairly small. This one is Do You See What I See? Primitive Stitchin' by Shelley Owen. Love this one. Purchased this last Christmas. I got it kitted up with the flosses, but I don't have any fabric in here yet. Love this one. I don't know of the stitch count right offhand, but it's 77 by 89. So just love this one. Very primitive. I love the meaning behind it. Love the frame, everything. It's just beautiful. So that one will be a start, probably maybe Thanksgiving weekend. I might start that one. I have Thanksgiving week off from school. None of our kids have school that week, the whole week. So I'll be able to get some stitching done then. This one is also a want to start that week. It's not very Thanksgiving-ish. It's probably more year-round. But I have loved this, and I took this clear up to the mountains with me to start in the summer, and then with my crazy, crazy, busy gardening summer and the death of my friend and a lot of things that happened, I was not able to start this. I put more focus and concentration into finishing up Elizabeth Charbonnet. But this one is, again, Stacy Nash. She never, ever, ever disappoints. Stacy Nash Primitives Malabar Farm Pin Keep. You can see that. It's got a beautiful peacock, a key, oh no, scissors. It says 1820, and then a beautiful flower urn right beside. Let me get that close. Malabar Farm Pin Keep. And it does say, you can't see it really well, but across the bottom under here in the shadows, it does say Malabar Farm. I might change that to something else, but I just love that peacock. It's fallish, but I definitely think you could leave this one out all year round. Haven't picked the fabric, but here are some of the flosses. I'll probably be, it looks like I'm going to be using the called for overdyes. Chamomile, Ginger Snap. The other two are facing down, so I'm not sure what they are. But Malabar Farm Pin Keep by Stacy Nash. And then in the back, here's the front again. And then the back of it is like a sewing pillow. Delicious. Just love it. And it is in a very simple, very plain bag that's blue flowers on one side and a piece of blue ticking on the other. And I reversed the process inside. Very simple bag. Malabar Farm Pin Keep. Okay, and the last one my friend Christy sent me, and it is in my Holly Hobby bag because we are, is it Betsy? Her name is Holly Hobby and Betsy, I want to say, or I don't know. I'm a 70s girl. I grew up with blue and white gingham checkered wallpaper in my bedroom. A blue and white checkered bedspread. My mom, it was like a chintz fabric or maybe a seersucker. But I'm definitely a Holly Hobby, Laura Ingalls Wilder, Jane Austen, Anna Green Gables. Love them all. They're all such very simple girls. Anyway, it's in my Holly Hobby bag that I made. And this is a Merry Heart. This was sent to me by my friend Christy. And I'm definitely going to be changing that house. The house kind of gets lost. It looks like a checkerboard house. This is Paulette Stewart's, Plum Street Samplers, Paulette Stewart, A Merry Heart. And it is a little on the Christmassy side, and it's spelt M-E-R-R-Y. But I do love that. I love it, love it. It's got a white dove, a little reindeer. So it's definitely a Christmas stitch. But I think I'll change the color of the house. Not sure to what yet, but love it. Thank you, Christy. And all the called for threads are right here. No fabric picked out yet, but here are the threads. Oh, let's go like this so it doesn't reflect quite so much. Aren't they delicious? Mm. Oh, if I could get nutrition off of thread like I do food, I wouldn't have to eat. Okay, there's 4 little sections we have left. One of them is I don't have a ton of fall small like bowl fillers that I would like to stitch. So I pulled a few that I need a vote. I need to take a poll. If you stitching friends would like, just please vote for me, because I'm truly at a Y in the middle of my road. Stacy Nash Primitives Butternut House Pin Keep with its pumpkins across the bottom of the lawn there. Love that one. Betsy's Autumn. I also have George Decorates for Martha, all kitted up by Plum Street Samplers. That one I don't think I've started yet either, but these are just literally the charts. I don't have anything kitted or anything, but look at all the leaves. Oh, and Betsy's white house, her flag, her pumpkin, pile of pumpkins. Looks like she's just been working out in her garden. Oh, just love it. Again, another one from must be Plum Street Sampler. No, I got a little bit of everything in here. Plum Street Sampler, White Pumpkin Farm. Oh, I'm just loving this one too. Crows and white pumpkins, that horse and that big red barn. Bounty Sampler. I saw this, I believe it was on Carol, Saltbox Stitcher. She has either stitched it or plans on starting it. And then I saw Christy Crosshatch Quilt had this one done. Bounty Sampler by Paulette Stewart, Plum Street Samplers. Let me get that one a little bit closer. Ooh. Love, love, love. This one, I don't know why I haven't even started this one, because this has been on my radar for quite some time, at least since 2016 when I bought this chart. Olga's Autumn Stocking by Plum Street. I think the thing I like the most about this is this checkerboard pumpkin and then the black chevron rickrack across the bottom toe. Love it. There's even a bunch of crows, but there's acorns on the top. I guess it's because those pumpkins are all colored differently, and they kind of look like quilts to me in a way. Olga's Autumn Stocking. Okay, Brenda Gervais, Queen of Harvest. Carol Saltbox Stitcher also mentioned this one. Give Thanks for Bounty. Love her. She's wearing a crown. Again, pumpkins, acorns, crows. Just love it. Love it, love it. Cheryl Owen, Primitive Stitchin'. Owen, I want to say is how you pronounce your name. I love this one though, because the little gal is riding a sheep. And it just says Autumn's Ride. With the word autumn stitched around the top. I love it when I can bring sheep into the photo, because I'm a sheep girl. I love sheep. Prairie Schooler, Christy, Daisy Case Primitives, has been stitching some Prairie Schooler. She is a true inspiration to me. I looked at a couple of prairie schoolers that I had, and this is the one I think that's calling my name the most. Autumn Leaves. It's the poem, you know, come said the wind to the leaves one day, come over the meadow and we will play. Autumn's Leaves, and then this is the one I would stitch if the vote comes out that way. Really, I want to stitch all of them, but which one do I start first? Okay, and then two by Country Rustic Primitives, Jenny Hoffman. One is called, I was looking for a date on this one because I know both of these were, I printed both of these. I downloaded and printed them off. Looks like 2012. Primitive Thankful Harvest Pillow Tuck. And these might be kind of hard to see. Some pumpkins in a wagon with the crow, but yet small enough to be pillow tucks. It doesn't have, without going through the whole chart, it does not have the dimensions of that one, but it's very small. Love that one. And the last one is Primitive Autumn Cabin 1809. Again, Country Rustic Primitives, Jenny Hoffman. I love this one because of that very autumnish tree and the log cabin. You can see it. Trying to hold it for a little bit longer and still so you can see it. Oh, I've heard a couple of FlossTubers say there's just not enough hours in the day, and it's true. But we all have to prioritize, and we all have to stitch what we love. I've unkitted a few, maybe 3 this last summer of ones that I know I would never stitch now. So why finish them? I think they were Mania starts in 2020. So not a lot was lost. Maybe a day or 2 stitching, not much. Okay, the next little segment is, this is my, what I'm calling my Christmas, my December/January. Let's do the small Christmas ones first. And I'm not saying I'm going to start these this year, but these are 2 that are high on the radar. My Heart's Welcome by Plum Street Samplers. This one is from 2022, but look at that blue house and that lady in her red dress. Oh, there's a wreath on the door. Oh, I just love this one. And this one I love too, A Mount Vernon Christmas. I, hands down, am a George Washington fan. I love that man. I love the time area he lived in. I loved the sacrifices he made. A Mount Vernon Christmas. The only thing I would change on this one is I would not stitch the snowman on the top of the house. To me, that's a little unrealistic. I would probably just put the flag up there straight up, a 13-star flag, and leave the snowman off. Mount Vernon Christmas. Okay, and then my January thinking about it is this small little stitch, Warm Winter Woolens. But look at that sheep with his sweater. I don't know how big this one is. Really small. Love that little guy. Being the librarian I am, my girlfriend Nicole sent me this several years ago, and I would love to stitch it. It's from Niddle House Needleworks, and it's called The Bookshelf. Bunch of my favorite authors. And then I've also seen my friend Judy from Stitch Group stitch this, and it's stunning. It's from Modern Folk Embroidery, Real Comfort, a Jane Austen sampler. And that's kind of really how I'm feeling right now. It says, there is nothing like staying at home for real comfort. And I have that saying on a blue background piece of wood with cream colored letters that says the very same thing hanging over my window in my living room, keeping room area, real small little area. Okay, 2 more things. I make receiving blankets that have this crocheted edge on them. I don't know if you can see that. And this one happens to be monkeys. Let's go this way. Monkeys on one side and this on the other. It's just 2 pieces of flannel sewn together and then turned inside out, ironed, stitched shut. Then around the whole outside edge, I stitch one more time with something called a wing needle. And that wing needle is very large. It creates a bigger hole than your average sewing machine, domestic sewing machine needle. That way I can fit the smallest crochet hook through there to make this first round of dark brown on this one. It's the first round of crochet, and then I start the second crochet with a little bit bigger needle. This one I'm doing for my daughter is in her second pregnancy, being a surrogate mother. This one I'm doing for her family, that baby Elias, I believe his name is, will be going to. I miss my daughter. She's living in Alaska now. So this one is for her. And then this one is for my girlfriend Nicole's daughter. Her name is Haley. And this one is some pink and green, which is more her color scheme. And it's got toile on one side and it's just a plain stripe on the other. And she's having a little girl. So you can kind of see, I haven't done much on this one, but you can kind of see how the variegation, this is what the crochet thread is that I use. I don't do a lot of crochet or a lot of knitting. As long as it's just kind of flat, I can handle it. But I'd love to be able to sew or to knit socks. I just haven't mastered that yet. I think it's because I'm left-handed and most patterns are written with a right-hand brain. And I just, if it's 3-dimensional, I can't do it. Something like this that's flat, I can handle it. But anyway, I do these big receiving blankets for friends who are having babies or grandbabies. So these two I've been kind of working on in the car. We've taken several trips back up to the mountain house because we had a hot water heater go out. And that's where my husband is this weekend. And then the last thing I want to talk about real quickly is because I'm a librarian at a very small country elementary school, I've always liked to read, but this time of year I think I read a little bit more. And now with having the responsibility of getting younger kids excited about reading and the books that they're reading, I've kind of taken on a different perspective of even my reading as an adult. I did just finish, one of the other things my husband and I do is he's driving along and I'm riding with him wherever we're going, is he loves for me to read to him. And we did just finish this book. These are not paid promotions, just so you know. Old Fashioned on Purpose, Cultivating a Slower, More Joyful Life by Jill Winger. She is a homesteader in Wyoming and on the prairies. She has a bunch of great advice. It's not a gardening book. You would think it'd be, oh, she's going to talk about cows and gardening. And while she does, she also talks about how how we can slow down our technology usage. And even just, she teaches her kids at home. She's a homeschooler. But just a really good back to basics. Let's slow down a little bit, clear out some of the garbage and the clutter. But I did just finish reading this to him on our travels. The 2 books I have finished recently. I ordered the first one for myself and it's not here yet. But there was a 2-volume set at my little public library here. Laura Ingalls Wilder, Writing for Young Women. And before Laura started her Little House in the Prairies book series, she was a writer for like magazines and newspapers and smaller articles. Well, those have all been put together in a collection, and there's volume 1 and volume 2, and I believe there's even a volume 3 now. And I'm just finishing up volume 2. I read number 1, and these I actually found in the young juvenile reader section of my public library. I find the best books in that young juvenile, not like nursery kids, obviously, but this one does say, it's just a series, Little House, but it was up above in the bookshelf. It said juvenile readers. And some of them are just a page or 2 long, but they're heartfelt things of what she went through as a young married woman. Not necessarily her childhood, because those she covers in the Little House series. But I'm glad I found these. Really real thin, not too bad. Good little reads. The one that I'm currently reading that my cousin Sarah I have a daughter Sarah and a cousin Sarah. My cousin Sarah turned me onto this, and I was all over it because it has to do with the outdoors. It takes place in Yellowstone. It's about botany. They're learning things, but it takes place at the turn of the 19th, from the 1800s to the 1900s. Letters from Yellowstone, and it's about a young scientist that surprises her field study group. She comes out from, I believe it's Boston, and it's a woman, and they're all men. And she is actually studying to be a medical doctor, but she kind of switches gears mid-career, early career. And they're going to be studying and collecting specimens of botany and flowers and shrubs and all that. And this one I just barely started. So, but I'm enthralled with this book. So very, very good book. But the last two books, I started a literary club for my 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. Now, considering the whole school, K through 5, is 45 kids. We kind of had a few drop out at the beginning of the year. They moved to another location here in Idaho. 45 kids total, K through 12, or excuse me, K through 5th grade, 45 kids. 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, I have 13 girls and 6 boys. The rest of them are all 1st, 2nd graders, kindergartners and 1st, 2nd graders. So the bulk of our age is very young. Only 19 boys and girls, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So the bulk of them are the younger generation. But I started a literary club with my girls and my boys, and they're reading 2 separate books because I thought I could hold their attention span a little bit more. The boys are reading And I Survived. These books, I never heard them, but they're so popular. I Survived the American Revolution. 1776, New York. They have I Survived D-Day. I survived Mount St. Helens. I survived, historical fiction books. But I survived the American Revolution, 1776. And the kids all make it. There's on the back here, there's I Survived the Hindenburg. I survived, oh, I don't have my glasses on. Just all kinds of I survived, and then the historical part of it. I survived the Great Molasses Flood. I survived the blizzard of such and such a year. They're just, I didn't realize they were quite so popular, but the kids love them. So the boys are reading this one anyway. My 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. I Survived. And my girls are reading The Secret Garden. Kind of a drastic change. One is considered a classic. This one is not considered a classic yet. This one is my personal copy of this book. And when I found this, I wanted this book. I bought it used, and it's the one where Tasha Tudor illustrated the illustrations. In all honesty, I have never read this book all the way through as a child, let alone as an adult. So I'm looking forward to sharing this with my 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade girls. But just the illustrations, I'm trying to find you one here that's big enough. Here's one where Tasha Tudor, obviously I never had the chance to meet, but I know somebody who did get to meet her, and her illustrations are just stunning. I think that's what she was mostly known for, as an author and an illustrator. And this book I got several years ago through Amazon, actually, the used section of Amazon. And I'm just really enjoying this book now. I think I'm on chapter 5. So the girls theirs will take a little bit longer to read. The boys, I think after we read the I Survived, just that one, the American Revolution, 1776, we have had a couple of votes. Out of the 5 boys, 3 of them wanted to read Old Yeller. So I'm excited to read the classics. That's what I kind of wanted to start this for, was to read the classics. In our helter-skelter world, I think the true important things are the things that have withstood the tests of time. The classic books, the long relationships, the friendships that have been cultivated over the past several, if not decades of years, our, our, our family relationships. Those things that withstand the test of time are the things that get me through the hard times, as my stitching does. And if it's a WIP that's 5 or 10 years old, it's okay. I think my oldest WIP is only 3 years old, so it can't be that bad, right? It's just that there's so many of them. I would love to finish them. But happy stitching, happy Thanksgiving. I will come back before Christmas and I will have O Tannenbaum fully finished, FFO'd, and hopefully maybe some of those smaller Christmas samplers that I was working on. Please send me your vote for what fall chart you think I should start next. Even though I have those 1 or 2 I want to start during Thanksgiving week, I want to get one other one started. So send me your vote, and I will try to answer your comments this time. Like I said, I've gotten rid of a couple of obligations. So happy stitching, and I will see you next time.